If you work a 9-to-5 job, you should definitely be dating right now and lock in later. You have the time to date if you work a 9-to-5 job. The only people who should be like completely cutting off dating are people who have no time for it. Most of you guys who work 9-to-5s, you have your nights free. You can go to the gym in the morning. You have your weekends free if you're not doing dumb shit. And realistically, bro, you have the time to go out and approach women or set up a good dating profile. All it takes is literally going to malls or something like that and taking flicks with your friends. It's not that hard.
I open the car door for her. I walk on the side of the road for her. I lift her bags for her. Not because she can't do it or she's a fragile little object, but it's because I want to show that I respect her presence. I admire her. I care for her. And I want her to feel safe around me. And it's so scary that in today's time, doing such beautiful things like these are often taken so wrongly. Women are out here saying that I can lift my own bags. Well, of course you can, but it doesn't mean that you have to.
Men don't fall out of love. They disconnect when this happens. Men don't usually just stop loving someone overnight. What actually happens is disconnection. When a man feels unappreciated, criticized, or constantly at odds with his partner, his heart slowly checks out. It's not love disappearing. It's connection fading. The couples who last are the ones who keep feeding that connection with admiration, respect, and peace. If you've ever felt blindsided by a man who drifted away, comment flow, and I'll send you the guide to keep him leaning in instead of pulling back.
A lot of these modern women live in delusion. The way my relationship is going to be perfect, and he's going to do as I say. What? No.
Best places to meet high quality men, nightclubs.
C tier. It's too loud, too noisy, and the people there, you're not want to date them anyway.
Bars.
Probably B tier. There's less noise, and honestly, not the most available men, but you have a chance to talk to them at least.
Work.
Honestly, A tier. I think you get to be yourself, you be authentic, you get to develop a relationship, but make sure you check with HR.
Apps.
At this point, high quality men are on apps. C tier.
Dating events.
S tier. Men go there because they want to be in a relationship. They're committed to it.
Bookstores.
A tier. It's a chill environment and you can meet people with similar interests.
Yoga and Pilates classes.
B tier. I wouldn't go to a yoga and Pilates class looking for meet your high quality man.
Friend references.
S tier. If your friends like them, chances are you'll like them too.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
You want a traditional man in a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Would it be fair to say you're a traditional woman? I can answer
For the
that.
most part, yes.
Okay, but would a traditional woman have her body half naked on Instagram?
See, that's where I...
Okay, but hear me out. You're exposing yourself in a way.
Right.
You're condoning that.
I think it's based on the partnership. I think your partner would have to really be comfortable with your line of work.
You want a traditional man, but see, this is the problem with a lot of modern day women. They don't want to be a traditional woman. Okay, so if you were with a man, the love of your life, and he was a perfect guy that you created, and that's the guy who says, Christina, you're in love with me, you do anything for me. Yep, I'll do anything for you, you do anything for me. I want you to close your Instagram account. Would you do it?
If I didn't have to rely on Instagram for work, and this was the perfect scenario where I knew this was my husband, I would not take away what makes me Christina.
But then you're not being traditional.
A real man apologize even when he's not wrong.
That's not maturity. That's stupidity.
It's called keeping the peace.
No, it's called rewarding bad behavior.
So you rather argue than apologize?
I would rather be right than fake it to babysit your feelings.
Wow. So apologizing is now a problem?
Apologizing when you're wrong is growth. Apologizing when you're right is self-betrayal.
That's your ego talking.
No, that's self-respect, something you clearly don't like.
Men are supposed to lead.
Leaders don't bow to nonsense.
You're just making this relationship harder.
No, you're just used to men being easy to control.
So there's no compromise with you?
Compromise isn't me losing every time just to keep you quiet.
So if I'm upset, you won't apologize?
If you're right, I will. If you're wrong, fix your attitude. Because if being a real man means apologizing when you're not wrong, that's not a relationship. That's you training a dog.
Once again, you're going to see a lot of men continue to exit dating altogether. If you're going to continue to disrespect me to my face, what are you really expecting? If you're going to continue to act silly with me, what are you thinking I'm going to do?
It's amazing. It really, really, really is. And I pray every female understands this joy of being a submissive girl. Currently, I'm in my grown woman closet era. I have thrown away everything in my closet because if I'm going to be a wife, I want to dress like a wife. In the past 4 years, I've been piling up and hoarding gym clothes, and I'm tired of it. It has to go. So I'm in my grown woman closet era, grown women attire era, and I've even flown my mom 4 times to help me get rid of everything. And it's not just the clothes, it's my house. Like, everything in my house is just gone. Like, I've sold everything. When I become a wife, I don't want to bring anything from my old apartment or anything like that. I just want to start fresh, and that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm so excited for it. And yeah.
I mean, I know guys say, well, I don't want to be rejected. And that a lot of that is true when talking about approaching people, approaching women. But a lot of times it's a backlash that you're going to give the guy because you're emotionally stunted.
So can we normalize you letting me borrow your husband and not in that way, you freaking weirdos?
What possible reason would a strong, independent woman have for needing to borrow somebody else's husband?
Like in the way where you both come over and he helps, hang my TV and lift all the heavy things and we drink wine at the same time.
I have an even better idea. How about someone figures out how to do all of those difficult things themselves, because someone else's husband and men in general are not your free workhorses just to be used for your convenience when you want them around.
And I'll make you both dinner and he can have a beer at the same time too. Like it's a win-win-win-win. But I need to borrow your husband.
No, this is just my opinion. But frankly, I am rather tired of a lot of women out there making the rest of us look rather bad, in addition to setting us back at least 50 years, if not more. Men are not something to be used just for a convenience when you need them. They are people. Do try to remember that.
You said, why ugly men have high standards for women?
Yeah, I think it's very strange. Like, it's always the fuggliest men that have the most to say.
But who are you to appraise men of how they look? What if they think they're a 10?
Well, again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, what I might think is a 10, someone might think is, a 5.
But like maybe these men who you think are ugly, like a lot of women think they're 10s.
Okay,
and so wouldn't it be fair for them
women.
to have high standards?
No.
Also, what's wrong with having high standards even if you're not attractive?
I mean, I just think you need to take a good hard look in the mirror and be like, all right, I'm a fugly man and I shouldn't have such high standards.
Should fugly women also think that way?
I don't think women are fugly. I think some are.
So there's fugly men, but not fugly women?
Absolutely.
Are all women 10s?
Sure, yeah.
Are all men 10s?
No.
Interesting how that works.
Modern women continue to talk about why don't men chase? Where are the men who court? Where are the men who pursue? I'll be standing right behind you. I'll be standing right alongside you. I'll be standing right in front of you. But you too busy looking at Chad to ever see where
I don't give a fuck. Well, you're technically not doing anything wrong. This is not a good habit to get into because you're not thinking clearly after a relationship ends. And also, a lot of men can kind of detect that rebound type of energy, and it can give off desperation, like you're trying to prove your ex wrong or you're trying to win the breakup. So sometimes you'll actually attract the wrong people for you. And then you get hurt, and then instead of realizing that you made a mistake dating so soon, you'll start blaming all men for that. Or overall, you'll get bitter. Not only that, but that's not fair to the men that you're potentially seeing, especially if you lead them on thinking they're going to get a long-term relationship out of you. Now, if you're upfront and honest, okay, that can work. Oftentimes, if we are fresh out of a relationship, we will compare any person we talk to or date to our ex, and that's not something you want to do long-term. And if you don't sit back and reflect for a while, you'll also repeat the same mistakes that you made in your other relationships. And instead of finding something better long term, you'll just keep repeating the same relationship over and over again with different people.
I made a list of 5 things I think every woman should do on a first date in 2026. Number 1, When you guys figure out your date and time, you meet there. Don't go in the restaurant or coffee place first. If he doesn't meet you somewhere near your car and walk up with you, no second date. Number 2, try to grab the restaurant door or coffee door in front of him first. If he doesn't stop you and grab it for you, open the door for you, no second date. Number 3, wait for him to order. Try to see if he orders first. If he doesn't say, no thanks, ladies first, no second date. Number 4, offer to pay your half. If you went to dinner, offer to pay your half or at least what you got. If he doesn't insist on paying the full thing, no second date. And number 5, if you guys had a good time, you go outside, maybe give him a hug outside the door or say your goodbyes right outside the door of the establishment. If he doesn't offer to walk you to your car, no second date. Don't settle.
You know, what modern women have to understand is that men don't hate you. It's just when they weigh the two and you have peace on one hand and toxicity on another hand, which one do you think that most men are going to choose? Probably peace.
If you really want to get over somebody, I'm going to need you to do these 3 things. Try all 3 for at least 21 days and then come back and tell me how you're feeling. The first one, no, you don't need closure. No, you don't need to contact them again. You need to go through a withdrawal. You had somebody, now you don't. Your brain is going, oh my God, I need them. But you're not safe because they were in your life. You're safe because you have you. The person that hurt you isn't going to be the person that heals you. And if you're hoping that them giving you closure is going to help you move on, you're just avoiding facing reality. And hope is actually also releasing dopamine. The second thing, take the shine off of them. Instead of they were so amazing, they were the love of my life, I'm never going to meet anyone like them. What makes them so special? That they ignored you? They dismissed you? They discredited you? They didn't want a relationship in the way that you did? Baby, this isn't the love of your life. This is just a lesson in something that seems super familiar from childhood. And the last thing, this one's kind of counterintuitive. Every time you think of them, don't try to get rid of the thoughts. What you're doing is you're telling your brain this must be really important if we're trying to get rid of it. So instead, they come to your mind, hey, given everything I've been through, of course it would make sense that I miss this person. We shared a relationship or time together. Hold compassion for yourself and stop treating yourself like just because it ended.
These modern women are wanting masculine behavior. They're wanting traditional behavior. But then when a man gives that to them, then they mock it. They make fun of it. Oh, ha, ha, he, look what he's doing. I'm doing what you asked me to do. It's just that you don't recognize it because you don't know what masculine behavior is.
So I used to think a woman's past didn't matter until this one time that I got invited over to my cousin's house. We were all sitting around their bonfire after dinner. They had invited some friends and another cousin of ours. And in the midst of the conversations, the attention got put on me. And they asked me if I've been seeing anybody lately because, recently I became single again. And I was like, yeah, like I've been seeing this one girl. She came over, we've been spending the night and all this stuff. And my cousin was like, oh yeah, Vinny got his little... What he needs is a good girl that's not going to give it up on the first night. So that's when my other cousin chimes in, the one that was recently married. And she's like, oh yeah, I made Steven wait at least 2 months before he was able to get any. And my boy was sitting there like all proud and shit. But it was worth it. That's when I was like, you see, like I want that too. But then I'm scared that like if a girl makes me wait that long and then I find out that she had a one night stand in her past. And then that's when they look at me and they're like, but why does that even matter? And that's when I was like, well, if the whole point of making a man wait is for self-respect and for preservation, then that goes out the window if you gave it to somebody else on the first night. So there's really no point. Because they're just going to feel like you put on a good girl mask just because you seen a future with me, but not with the person you let hit on the first night, And the whole time that I was giving my explanation, all I'm seeing is like my little cousin, the 16-year-old, she's in the back like, and as soon as I finish talking, she looks over at her sister and she's like, My cousin's like, what? And she's like, what about the guy in Mexico? When I tell you guys, her face went pale. Like, she didn't even know what to say. And then her husband's like, what guy in Mexico? So at that moment, I'm pretty sure we all realized that he didn't know about the guy in Mexico. And at that point, he had got up, walked into the house, and my cousin followed after him. And honestly, we didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. But a month later, they actually announced that they were separating. But I think we all learned a valuable lesson that day. For me, it was just because she make you wait does not make her worth my time.
Just because your ex is dating someone else or seeing someone else, it doesn't mean that they've moved on. So many people in my lives, commenting on my videos, people I work with, say, well, my ex moved on in a week, my ex moved on in a month, my ex moved on in 6 months. You don't know that for sure. You're just assuming that because there might be somebody else in the picture. The truth is, you don't actually know if your ex has moved on. You might assume something or think something, but you actually don't know for sure. Has there ever been a time that you've dated someone or gone on some dates with somebody or spent time with someone that you weren't like for sure about? The answer is probably yes, okay? But if your ex saw that, then they might think that you've actually moved on. Now, if they have been with this new person for over 6 months or a year or a few years, then yeah, maybe they've actually moved on. But just because they even are saying that they're moving on or that they're talking to someone else or that they're dating someone else. It doesn't mean that they have for sure moved on. I think that we tell ourselves that, but it doesn't mean that that's actually the case.
A lot of men, when they see the state of dating, when they see how modern women act, my God, you can't even go to a baseball game anymore and expect a sporting event and expect for a woman not to cut up. You can't even go to church and expect a woman not to cut up. Modern women, not all women, not all women. Modern women to cut.
This was one of the most profound things that's ever happened to me in my life. I remember exactly. We were outside on the deck in the backyard. We were talking about something. Blair came up to me. She was like, I'm tired, baby. I get emotional every time I talk about this because I feel like the world changed in that moment. She said, I don't want to have to do what I did to get here as regards to like forcing business. She was like, baby, I'm tired. She's like, will you take care of me? Soft shoulders, soft eyes. It's not like, will you take care of me? I want to use you for your money. She already proved that she can do it herself. And so this is when I experienced that there's a different version of surrender. As that most women don't even like the word surrender, but they're so used to a man trying to control them to do what they say. But a woman who knows her power and then chooses to say, boom. When she did that, something was birthed inside of me. And I was like, yes, of course I'll take care of you. Interesting. My massively successful company, Artist Power, that grew $2.7 million, a retreat company in 6.5 months, was birthed 1 month later. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, that's the power of the woman.
One of the things that men have a problem with when women talk about a man being emotionally vulnerable is the fact that a lot of times you're not emotionally disciplined enough to handle what I'm telling you. So later on, you're going to start bumping your gums and tell everybody my business. And then I'm going to have a problem with them because they're going to be trying to be all up in my business.
The question, what makes a woman the right person for you to marry? There are 12 things on the list that make a person the right person married. And none of them are love. Nobody said love. I love her. That was the given. That's the easy part. Loving women is not scarce to them, so they don't have to find a woman to love. They find a woman who they can, oh boy. I warned Harris that this happens, that every question has at least 5 ways to go. Men commit differently than women. Men pick up the whole package. So they start by looking. They're looking for a woman with complementary strength. They are looking for strength, and they see women that's really, really, really strong, but they don't need to be duplicated. And they don't want to be duplicated. They want to be admired for the ways that they're strong that you aren't. And the only reason they want to be admired by you is because they admire you. It's not because they think so little. We want to be admired by the people we admire.
Women get married for 3 primary reasons. Number 1 is to get married, meaning it's to check it off our list of what we think is going to make us happy and fulfill our fantasy of love. The second primary reason we get married as women is to have children, which are a built-in excuse so we don't have to make something of ourselves and our lives. And number 3 is to be taken care of and then cash out. That we play the game of marriage and use our society's laws with marriage and divorce to our advantage. To interpret these 3 reasons for you of why women get married, none of which you can hear, none of which are falling in love and committing to be a wife, is that you are an inconvenient accessory because she needed you to achieve these goals. And you need to know, if she really loved you and wanted to be your wife, you would be having regular sex. She would treat you with respect, value you as a man, and show you affection every day.
A lot of men see that they're really honestly and truly the only ones trying in the relationship. I mean, you might put forth a little bit of effort here and there, but you're not really doing a whole bunch. So a man is like, if you're not going to put but 30% in, and I got to do the 70% and be happy doing 70% of the work for the rest of my life, is that a deal?
Where are my good men? Where are the good men at? Because we got girls out here that have been putting themselves out there in dating and they're tainted. These men out here, these ratchet men have been tainting the love of girls, and we need to see the good men. Where are the good, respectful men out there?
When you're dealing with a grown man, there are 5 things that you absolutely cannot play with. Number 1 is his time. A grown man organizes his life around responsibilities, family, purpose. So when a man like that gives you his time, that means something. Number 2, his dignity. He is not going to play about his dignity. He can take a joke. You can even tease him a little bit. But humiliating him, correcting that man in front of people, talking down to him publicly, non-negotiable. Number 3 is his peace. And that should be number 1, actually. A man of this world spends most of his day dealing with pressure. So the vibe he comes home to absolutely matters. Constant drama, tests, emotional fires to put out, those kind of things drain him. Because peace is not boring to a grown man. Peace is necessary. Number 4, his effort. When a man is trying, he's showing up, he's fixing problems, he's making plans, taking responsibility, that effort has to be appreciated, because nothing tells a man to stop trying more than feeling like nothing he does is good enough. Number 5 is his loyalty. A real man takes loyalty seriously, not just physical loyalty, but emotional loyalty. The way you speak about him, the way you represent the relationship when he's not around. When a man realizes that the person beside him isn't truly in his corner, that man's going to start thinking hard. And when a man gets to thinking hard, it's bend or break.
Man opens the door for a woman, or he pulls a chair for a woman to sit. It is neither equality nor chauvinism. It is chivalry. And chivalry is not up to today. And I'm proud of all the men on earth. Thank you.
शिवलरी वर्सेस शोविनिज्म. अगर कोई मेल किसी फीमेल के लिए पुल करता है चेयर और इस माइंडसेट से करता है कि आई एम सुपीरियर, देन दैट इज शोविनिज्म. उसे कम समझना विमेन को, और अगर वो पोलाइटनेस, कर्टसी दिखाने के लिए, रिस्पेक्ट दिखाने के लिए करता है, तो दैट इज शिवलरी. इट वाज सो ब्यूटीफुली एक्सप्लेन्ड बाय दिस वुमन. Am I right? If you understood, make a sentence and let me know in the comments.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one, so you men better listen up, okay? You guys keep saying, Domo, you're teaching us to be simp. Domo, you're telling us to have simp behavior. This doesn't work. You're not listening to the game that I'm putting down here. We are not being sweet to be sweet. This is a game. This is chess, okay? You don't open with being very rude and mean unless you have high leverage, okay? But currently, you have 0 leverage. You have to show value first. You have to be nice, be sweet, be kind. Show her what it is like to be with you. Because if you open with cruelness and meanness and thinking you're too good and standoffishness, she will never see your value. She will walk away. She will think you're just weird and a jerk. But if you go in showing all these wonderful things, showing her time with you is great, showing her that life with you is amazing, now you have leverage. You have a tool you can use later, okay? That's all I'm saying for all you guys who say this is simp behavior, this doesn't work. You're not listening to the game we're playing here. You're being short-sighted. You're not seeing the whole entire vision, okay?
I surprisingly agree with this. Yeah, it's like almost like a hot dog that you have to put on the string and kind of reel them in, but you have to be very careful because simp behavior, it can evolve into taking advantage of that. So I surprisingly agree with her. Holy shit. This is interesting.
Anyway, that is episode 1 of Domo Debunks for common things that you hear with online dating that are just absolutely not true. That you shouldn't be like extra sweet and nice or show simp behavior. Comment below what other...
Yeah, hey, unfortunately it's a game. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
Single ladies in Los Angeles, I have an amazing VIP matchmaking client who is looking for the love of his life. He's 35, 5'11", handsome, fit, and splits his time between managing investments in the hospitality and entertainment industry, traveling, and collecting rare cars. He's especially passionate about nature-driven travel and loves safaris in Africa, hiking in Norway, and skiing in places like Japan and Switzerland. He's looking for somebody who's quietly beautiful and knows how to carry herself in public, but is probably on the more introverted side like he is. Ideally, she's between 25 and 32, although there's flexibility there. She's at least 5'5" and is excited to start a family with the right person sooner rather than later. If you have an amazing single girlfriend in LA who could be a fit, please share this with her, or if you're potentially interested in meeting him yourself, then
young people quit on marriage over things that are just a part of the commitment.
Yes.
We've been married for 30 years.
I know.
You know, if I fell out with him for 10 and we had great 20 years, I'd take those odds anytime. But we glamorize marriage. And in this day and age, marriage is more about the dress and the dresses and the proposal and the honeymoon and all the stuff around it. And young people aren't ready for the real of marriage. So I think, once again, it's incumbent upon us, people who have had successful marriages, to be really honest about the fact that making a commitment to be with someone means you compromise, and compromise ain't always fun.
Your self-respect has to be stronger than your desire to be chosen. Because the moment you want someone's love more than you want your dignity, you start negotiating with things you should never be negotiating with. You tolerate what hurts. You explain away what feels wrong. You stay where you're not treated well because you're afraid of losing connection. But love that costs you your self-respect will always leave you empty. When you respect yourself, you stop auditioning for affection. You stop shrinking to be easier to keep. You stop confusing attachment with love. The right person won't require you to abandon yourself to be loved by them. Anyone can want to be loved, but it takes real strength to choose yourself when staying means losing who you are.
If you're a black man and you're 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and you're not married to a black woman, go ahead and go get you a foreigner. Because these black women, majority of them, they don't like black men anymore. A hard-working black man is not respected in America anymore. The only men that are qualified to date a majority of these black women is Jesus himself. They don't appreciate a hard-working black man anymore. Give them a Bible. Give them a rose, give them a bottle of wine, and that's what they're content with. Because these other races of men don't want them anyway, because they talk too much. But they can go get you a nice little Vietnamese or Cambo or whatever that's going to be quiet, full, cook, clean. She should say when, how, why.
Oh, I love being a woman.
Oh, but I thought you didn't want to be approached. So why aren't you asking those other women that are sitting if they'll give up their seat for you? Why does a man that you don't even know have to give up his seat? And for a lot of men, the second he says anything to you, I have a boyfriend, or you look scared, or you look uncomfortable. A lot of ladies have made thousands of videos saying, we don't want to be approached, we don't want to be talked to by men, don't even look in my direction. And men heard loud and clear. And the funny thing is, while you're standing there shaming these men, if you were to kindly ask a man if you could have his seat, I guarantee you would find someone that would give up their seat for you. But instead, you're shaming the very people that you expect to give up their seat.
See a girl I like, I'm going to approach her. I'm going to go talk to her. If I get rejected, I get rejected. Right. What do I care? But the reason why I keep getting rejected, it's because I do so many approaches, and guys don't seem to get that. You're going to miss some of the shots that you take in life. If you don't take any shots, like most of these MGTOW guys, you're never going to be successful with women. Mm-hmm. How do you have a fear of women, number one? Mm. How is it that bad to the point where you're doing MGTOW and men going their own way? Because when they watch these YouTube videos of this red pill content, it feeds their ego. Yeah. That's what it does. Yeah. It feeds their fear that they already have.
Their hatred.
It's kind of simple, right? So you're saying when you approached the girl, they were actually very receptive, and they...
I really like her approach. It's really genuine, and I think it's really courageous great.
So London for game, how do you rate it? Like out of 10, what would you say?
I feel like I can get results here.
What I'm seeing is that Krishna is employing a lot of the things that I was telling him about, smiling more, having a little bit of a better vibe, better energy, and the girl's a lot more open to the conversation. You know, I lead my boot camps in London because you got lots of people, lots of foot traffic. The girls are kind of receptive. You know, it's not the easiest place to game, but they're more receptive, which is why I coach here. And you know from your own experience that if you just approach, it's better than not to approach.
Yeah.
And they're receptive, right? In general, they're not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
And are you actually obsessed with that man, or is he just a fixation that you have because you are not pleased with your current lifestyle? Which one is it, bestie? I noticed a lot of times as young women, we will just be obsessing over a guy that we actually don't really like that much because it helps us in a place of uncertainty where we're trying to get to where we want to be. When you're a woman becoming your dream version of yourself, it's really easy to get distracted. I think as a woman, becoming your dream version of yourselves comes with a lot of periods of ambiguity. And in those periods, you might meet a guy that you think you're obsessed with because he offers you comfort in a period of uncertainty before you get to where you want to be. And then you think you're obsessed with him. And then you think that you can't live without him. But is it that you can't live without him? Or are you just like really desiring a completely different life and that's what you're settling for because it gives you comfort? Think on it.
5 signs you're dating a man who's a husband material. First, he takes accountability. ஒரு problem வருது அப்படின்னா நீ தான் அப்படின்ட்டு blame பண்ணாம how I can repair it, what I can do for you அப்படின்ற accountability எடுத்துக்கிறாங்க. Second, he is consistent. அவங்களோட எனர்ஜி வந்துட்டு நல்ல நாள் அப்போ நல்லா இருக்க மாதிரியோ ugly daysஓ இல்ல bad days அப்போ வந்துட்டு எனக்கு மூட் இல்லை அப்படின்ட்டு இல்லாம ரொம்ப கன்சிஸ்டன்டா இருக்கும் அவங்களோட எனர்ஜி. அவங்க போடுற எஃபர்ட்ஸ் இந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் வந்து ரொம்ப கன்சிஸ்டன்டா இருக்கும் நமக்கு. Third, he can handle difficult conversation. ஒரு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமான ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும்போது அவங்க அங்கிருந்து ஷட் டவுனும் ஆகாம பிளேமும் பண்ணாம நம்ம கூட உட்கார்ந்து நம்மள அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணி ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் பண்றதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவாங்க. Fourth, he respects your individuality. நீங்க வந்து உங்களை ஷ்ரிங்க் பண்ணி அந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்குள்ள இருக்கணும்னு இல்ல, நீங்க நீங்களாவே இருக்கலாம் அந்த ரிலேஷன்ஷிப்ல. Fifth, very important, they think long term. ஒரு டெசிஷன் எடுக்கும் போது நம்மளையும் சேர்த்து யோசிச்சு அந்த டெசிஷன் எடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி யோசிப்பாங்க. எமோஷனலின்னு கிடையாது, பிராக்டிகலியுமே கூட. இந்த 5 சைன் உங்களோட பொட்டன்ஷியல் பார்ட்னர் கிட்ட இருக்கு அப்படின்னா இட்ஸ் a big green flag.
I'm sorry, but you can't say you want a good man and then speak about men like they're the problem. Because something shifted some time ago and it's not in a good way. There was a time where feminism actually stood for equality, fairness, respect, opportunity, and it was needed. But now I'm seeing a lot of messaging that sounds more like resentment and trying to diminish men. They're talking about men are useless, use them, all men are the same, we don't need them. I've even had girls in my comments say that it's cute that I see men as human because apparently they aren't. Like, what? And yet, in the same breath, I hear women say they want to get married. With who? These animals? What is wrong with us? You cannot build something real with someone you don't respect. That's not empowerment. That's just creating a bigger divide. We need each other. And if we keep pushing this constant tension and unrealistic expectations on each other, all we're doing is making dating worse for everyone involved and creating more broken homes.
So why do men no longer come up to women? I asked this in a TikTok last week, and it got so many comments, especially from men. And I just want to preface this with, this was no shade to men. This post was no shade to men, and neither is this one. I was just genuinely curious and asking. I love men. I think they're awesome, and I think that they're a little confused right now. But most of their responses said something like, we were told not to go up to you guys, and we were told that you want to be left alone and you just want your own space and you don't want us approaching you. Which for some women that can absolutely be true, but I love meeting people in person, and I just think that it takes a confident person to go up to someone when you see them in person, and I think it's a really cool way to meet people rather than meeting people online. And we're also saying things like they were called creeps and weirdos, and they don't want to be called that. It's not a pleasant experience. But I will say that it has to do with how you approach a woman. Like, for example, myself and my friends have had men come up to us with a really, really intense energy.
He this is why men don't pursue women anymore. Because so many men are on dating apps nowadays, it has given them this illusion of an unlimited choice in women. So when men go out to bars or restaurants, they're not pursuing women anymore because they know that when they go home, they will have the backup of the dating app.
If only dating apps worked that way for men, they actually work like that for women. Because the reality is, men could swipe all day, swiping like on all of those women, and he is lucky to get 1 or 2 matches. Men stop pursuing women because us ladies told them to stop. They complained every single time a man has approached us. We have done things like give him our boyfriend's number, or yell at him, or overall show that we're bothered by him approaching. And a lot of men want to respect our boundaries, want us to feel comfortable. So for the majority of men, the potential of making us uncomfortable is not worth it to them, so they're not gonna even bother approaching us. Men also don't want to pursue us if we're not gonna make any effort in return. At that point, it's just a waste of time, and he could spend that time pursuing his hobbies or building his career.
So who do you think are the biggest enforcers of gender roles, men or women?
Men, because they're more dominant.
Yeah, but who typically pays on a first date?
Men.
Who's typically expected to approach?
Men.
Who typically buys the drinks at nightclubs?
Men.
Who typically gets down on one knee?
Men.
Isn't that all traditional male behavior?
I think a girl loves it, and a girl loves to be chased.
Once again, who are the biggest enforcers of gender roles, men or women?
It's a good question because women expect it when men don't want to do it all the time, but men get the benefit of going out of their way to do their gender roles.
So would you say that women are the biggest enforcers of gender roles? Would you agree with that?
No.
You said women expect it though, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, does a man necessarily have to expect a woman to do traditional things to be with him? Or?
Oh, nowadays, no. Women don't want to cook, clean, provide for the family. It's definitely different. 2026.
So once again, how are women not the biggest enforcers of gender roles?
I don't think they're subtle enforcers. Like, it's expected.
Well, right, but you're saying that women expect men to be in their roles, but women don't want to be in their roles. So to me, that sounds like it is sad, but my point is, it sounds like women are enforcing gender roles more than men are. Is that true?
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
So if women are the biggest enforcers of gender roles, how are women not the biggest enforcers of patriarchy? The very thing they demonize men for.
I don't know. I'm in a healthy relationship, so I can't really speak on that.
Listen, I don't know who make them nowadays, man, but me need you to unmake them expeditiously. Because why am I coming from my run? Like, I am sweaty, stay bad, me look like me I struggle. And I come into the building and I'm passing the concierge and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a box to collect, right? The concierge proceeds to tell me, no, I have several boxes to collect. So me now, I struggle with my accoutrement and 4 men stand up at the elevator. I try to get into the elevator and one of the elevators not working. You know, I shout out, I'm like, can you hold the elevator for me? Because they weren't going to do it otherwise. So them hold the elevator, I go for buzz, and it not work. So I say, all right, I'll come off. Them follow me off of the elevator. Me a hold, me 15 bucks them, you know. And me say, we'll try the next elevator. Somebody else is already on there. So me, them push past me to go into the next elevator. And I'm like, could you hold the elevator? No. Them I have to push and try and get in there. It's not working. And the 4 of them catch up in there. And now make no space for me. So I'm like, you know what? Let me come off. and go use the 3rd elevator by myself. Because none of these men have no chivalry. The one of them stay bad. I mean, I don't know where them come from, but them need to go back under them mother because this is crazy.
Men do not care if you have kids. I can promise you. So if you are listening and you have kids and you're scared to get a divorce or leave a relationship because you're a mom, get that out of your head. Men do not care.
There are definitely a lot of men who do care if you have kids. I think that Kristen is mostly speaking from her perspective because she makes a decent amount of money. You know, I'm pretty sure she lives somewhere in California, maybe LA. So she doesn't really have to worry about about not having enough money to hire a babysitter, or not knowing how she's going to be able to afford her rent, or really needing a guy for multiple income. And so her perspective with guys that she might be dating is just going to be different from your average woman. I also think it's different when we're talking about casual versus serious, because there's a lot of guys who will date a single mom casually, but they might not be ready for the responsibility that comes with having to sort of take on that step parent role. And I know there's going to be some women who say that they wouldn't have to take that on, but the truth is, if you like really fall deeply in love with somebody, eventually that probably is going to come with being in a partnership with them, at least most of the time. So men are kind of evaluating that. And it's not just men. There are women who are evaluating that too. There are a lot of women who also won't date single dads if they are child free. So it's just one of those things where it doesn't mean that it's completely hopeless. And if you are open to also dating a single parent, then that might work even better for you. But it is just the truth that every sort of thing that could make you more niche or could add a responsibility to your life probably will make it harder to date in some capacity. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that you sort of have to navigate accordingly and understand that there are going to be some people who reject you because of it, but that doesn't mean that you can't find your person at the end of the day. But that is just my personal opinion, so let me know what you guys think. Bye.
Sometimes your boyfriend or husband will stop doing these things that he used to do because he doesn't need to anymore. He doesn't need to invest to have your attention. He doesn't need to cherish and spoil and adore you with affection to feel like you're going to be there and you're going to be loving him. There's no polarity. There's no tension. You're not doing you. You're so focused on him, and you think, yeah, I'm never going to leave him. And we're just so comfortable that there is nothing pushing him to do that. He thinks, well, I don't need to, things are fine just the way they are. Men don't do things that they don't need to do, and they don't do things that don't come with some kind of reward for them in the end. So if you're already freely there for him, giving him everything he could ever want, being his servant, giving him all the affection all day long, yada, 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 all your attention's on him all the time, there's no reward for him in planning a date, in getting you a gift, in going above and beyond for you. There's no reward. So there's no point for him to do it. And if your response to me is, well, I don't want to play any games, I just want to be, well then, this is what happens when you don't play games. This is what happens. They give up. They get complacent. They get lazy because there's no motivation. There's no reason for him to do anything. So you got to start being more selfish. You got to start leaving him alone. Just mind your own business, not to be mean. Just leave him alone. Mind your own business. Get a hobby. Get something to do. Stop centering your life around him. Stop focusing on him. Stop asking him to plan dates for you. Fill up your own weekend, fill up your own calendar. Don't let your time and your life revolve around him. And if he still wants to, which I'm sure he will come around, then you will see him start to do those things on his own. You can't force him to do any of these things. You can only inspire him by giving up and letting go.
You see men finally starting to walk away in mass and disappear from approaching, from courting, from pursuing. It's probably because your risk, your cost benefit has shifted too far away from it being worth it. A lot of men like to say the juice isn't worth the squeeze.